It's probably gonna be a much longer video than normal.
Oh yeah, guys, please understand. We are still like elated and like lit up right now.
There's so much more to talk about than just like, oh yeah, we went up to Toronto. It's kind of cool. We met some people, and you know,
shout out, goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much more to talk about. Ready?
Hey guys, coolest intro ever or what? Just want to show off some of the swag we got in the background for our post Hell It's Aboot time wrap up video. But I don't think I can do the whole thing with these on, so.
I can.
Okay. We managed to get a replica belt made while we were here.
Yeah.
I was personally really sad. Like, I was really bummed about not getting to take that trophy home. So Zamrigo hooked us up with one of these. Yeah! Sip this up for the rest of the video. This is a lot of our photo booth prop stuff we had left over from the event. It was a lot of fun. And I guess the first thing we need to talk about is like, hell fucking yeah, we did a live event, man. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna end up talking a lot for this. Do you have anything post feelings about the tournament? Happy, sad?
Oh, well, I mean, I guess I was gonna go more into detail. This is general observation. It was cool. It
was so fucking cool, and I'm gonna swear a lot in this video, guys, because I get really excited thinking about a lot of the stuff that happened this weekend. I mean, for me, there's a lot of sadness right now because it's over. Not like, oh my god, but you know, our friends are leaving, the event's all done. And it was probably, if not definitely, one of the best experiences of my life. We worked so hard getting here. It was still, for me, I still can't even believe we did it. The amount of hard work we did, just like trying to get the money for the tournament and actually the logistics with the tournament and many other things that just kept happening. It still blows me away that we managed to have it go down. But I think one of my favorite things about the whole event, casting with this stupid girl right here. It was a lot of fun doing that in real life again. We started a Home Story Cup. We got a little bit of, I guess, call it practice, but I mean, the Home Story Cup does not have an audience.
No. Well, we didn't really hear the audience, so sometimes we thought maybe they were laughing, but maybe not.
Sometimes it was really awkward. It was like, that was a sick joke, and then like you look around and because the earphones like muffle everything, you're like, did anybody laugh at that? I thought it was going okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I guess, a taste of what it's like being me on a regular basis. But I have to laugh at my own jokes. My own jokes. But there's so many things to be said. The players were phenomenal to work with. Nobody really gave us any trouble. We had very small to no hiccups in that regard. Obviously, if you guys watched day one, you know the open bracket had its problems. We actually had a lot of problems with the venue too. They did their best though, they really did. Sometimes it wasn't enough, but we found solutions and we had the stream working and the show did go on. Day two was actually, I think, fantastic. We had our group stages more or less uninterrupted.
I thought I could do it on like, you know, legs folded, but I really can't.
Do you need like a Nathaniel style booster seat?
I do need it.
Shots fired.
Just have as tall as possible.
Day three, finals. That was great right up until the hiccup before the finals.
Yeah, that sucked. That was a real buzz killer.
I think it was a hype killer too. It was really sad. We were trying to track it. You guys have to understand. We actually didn't have a lot of control of things. It was hard to like be in chat or even see our stream viewer numbers. But I know people were tweeting at us like, you're over 9,000. People were saying you're 10,000. It was really cool. And then, and actually, before we talk about anything further than that, I just want to say that there's a lot of people out there who are, you know, whether you're a Reddit troll or actually a genuine friend concerned about us, worried about the numbers for the tournament, the viewership. And I'll just tell you guys this without lying. Like, I expected the viewership to be more, but we were fighting against some of like the toughest things on Twitch, and I actually don't mind. I actually came to terms pretty quickly realizing the viewership we had was actually pretty fantastic because the front page time is not as helpful as I was hoping it would be, monitored by the fact that we had the Pokemon World Championship to compete with and ESL clone, both taking the front two page slots as well. So it was really actually good to see like, oh, we're pulling 9,000 viewers kind of on our own, like from the StarCraft community, not relying on randoms on the front page. And then, of course, the live audience. It was pretty empty on day one. It was a Friday, people were working.
Yep.
We really didn't expect much for day one. It's open brackets after all, but day two it filled up pretty quick. Day three was not packed to the brim, but it was actually a really full audience, which was nice. There's lots of videos and stuff of people cheering. The dance contest.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Yeah, so like that was before the finals. We kind of did to fill some of that downtime. Actually, that was pretty fun. We picked some people from the audience, and I guess for those who missed the VOD or if it didn't get up because of technical problems, we were giving away the player chairs.
Yeah. That shouldn't be the case. They definitely, at the very least, you know, when everything was going to shit, basically they said we can give you a clean feed, rather a clean video to upload. It was more on the side of connecting to Twitch that was the problem. So I don't know what technical difficulties the word be, but hopefully not.
Yeah, it wasn't anything that was our fault was the thing. So, but it was nice that we finally got over it. We got to the finals, and guys, I've said it before. I'll say it a million times. I don't even care if I jinx it at this point. I do. I'm gonna have some wood. We are spoiled by our finals. We really are. I mean, the first big event we ever ran, honestly, had a pretty lame finals. Life versus Hyun, so 4-0 in the big one. But after that, we've just Hearthstone versus Kas, Mana versus anybody really, Parting versus Gumio, and of course, like there's many others in smaller cups. But every time we get a finals, it's usually pretty good, and this one was no exception.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I don't want to spoil it in case there's someone who's just watching this randomly and didn't see it yet. But it went to Game 7, which was nice, and it was the sickest Game 7 I could have hoped for in the matchup.
Yep, everything went according to plan, at least in the finals. But it sucks that there's so many technical difficulties, and we certainly learned a lot from this tournament.
Oh, yes, we did.
I mean, seriously, like the technical difficulty things. I mean, it was a bummer for us too, because sometimes no matter if people were trying to be helpful or encouraging or whatever, just having to notice the technical difficulties at all, whether it's give them a break or I'm not gonna watch the tournament, blah blah blah. It's a bummer, but that live audience actually being there, I don't know, that made up for everything,
It really did. The energy from that crowd was insane.
And like the nice thing about it too is that while we still love everyone online that watches us and our viewers, whatever, so many of the people that came were actually those people that like really loved us online and they got to actually see us in person. So we were still appreciative of online viewers. We tried to keep up with you as we normally did. I tried to get a couple of fights just because that's what I do online. But to have like the people that came feel like VIPs and have like a ton of freaking fun, I think, I don't know, for me that's kind of like my next goal. If we're ever gonna do a tournament again, and we're not promising anything or anything like that, I mean we're talking about what could be done better potentially, but what was the best feeling about the tournament. And at least for me, it was hopefully that everyone felt kind of like the two VIPs did at Home Story Cup. Like the Home Story Cup didn't have an audience, but everyone loves it, and these two guys, they donated the Indiegogo, they came in, and it was just like
They were chilling in the background with us.
It was a VIP experience. You got to meet the players, you got to meet the casters, they got to hang out, be places that normally no one else can be.
I feel like we had VIPs, but I feel like we had almost 200 VIPs.
We did. I guess that's a good point. We had VIP 1, VIP 2, and then everyone else, but everyone else that came, like, I mean, we just catered so much to them, and they really, showed the love back to us, chanting that 8-0, never mind, chanting in the final.
Let's talk about numbers here, because this is something I think will be important for anyone else who wants to start one of these events, right?
Okay.
So we had the Kickstarter. We spent $600 on an ice cream truck. He didn't even sell out all the ice cream, which was kind of cool. Like, everyone had, 2 cones each. Everyone had slushies. That thing was there from 12 till 6.
He almost did, though.
There was, 12 cones left or something. It was almost, but my point is still, that was $600. $400 was spent on pizza for the couple of days. And I'll tell you, those two things alone, so it's $1,000 organizers could potentially spend in the future. That made the audience love everything.
Yeah.
We got non-stop comments like, oh, there's no other event that's ever treated the players, the audience, giving us food, stuff like that. I mean, I was honestly shocked at the amount of praise we got, because our goal was just, hey, what would we want to see? How would we want to be treated at a tournament? And I think we hit that home base for a lot of people.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we'll focus on in the future. Again, not promising anything. But if there's a live event, I mean, we're going to be going over numbers and potential ideas, potential locations, just in case, seriously. Like, maybe in a year we have the drive again, we have the money again. That'd certainly be something that I would love to do again. But I don't. Well, it's still fresh in our minds, I guess. That's the feeling that I want everyone to get. So I guess I say this partially too because some people are going to be like, wow, I was really hoping maybe it was going to be like WCS or something like that, like where there's like a huge crowd. And I guess I won't actually say what the WCS crowd was actually like, but whatever. But in huge numbers and like super famous people, like those guys that expected that from us, you had pretty high expectations, first of all, and second of all, that's not even us,
It's not BaseTradeTV.
Yeah, so what we actually achieved in person, I think 100%, exactly, everything went like aces on that part.
I agree.
The technical difficulties sucked for the online experience, to be honest, we won't lie about that, but what?
You bring up the technical difficulties, there's something I want to stress to anyone as well. You might not notice because it's behind the scenes. We had rented out the venue for a full extra day, so we had the Thursday night to set up, we had the Thursday day to set up, and we had plans to do rehearsals. it's worth noting our tournament is probably one of the only tournaments that never had any rehearsals done. We really wanted to. We were supposed to have 2 scheduled as well.
Yeah.
But we had problems. We had late fly-ins by some people. It was really unfortunate we couldn't do full dress rehearsals. And the only thing we really got to do before we were kind of thrown into the fire live was just, hey, where do you want to be sitting?
Yeah, that was basically it. Do you want to sit here? Okay, maybe do like a 15-minute dry run. Just kidding, we don't have 15 minutes. We gotta go now. That was basically it. But everything, I mean,
but
considering that.
Even that though, that is still, I feel so much more BaseTradeTV. Like,
it is.
Like just flip it on. Oh, we're having problems. We have 40 minutes of downtime. Let's just talk. You know.
Yeah.
So Zombiev's cat. We just missed your cat walking across the camera.
Yes, we just needed a cat. We need to borrow one from the shelter that was across the street.
Oh, guys, there's like 7 cats roaming around the venue. It's actually kind of funny.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. But I guess like enough about future plans because I feel like I'm gonna raise a lot of.
You'll like
hopes
start
here.
promising things.
I know, right? I don't promise anything.
What? It's gonna be on the moon?
Like, yeah, apparently something like that, right? But just know that, like, I mean, that's something we plan to do. You know, getting a thread up, kind of like, I forgot he did this, but it almost exactly like Total Biscuits. You know,
Post-mortems and stuff like that.
Post-mortems, whatever you want to call them. Like the shout card stuff would be really awesome, and just like a mini handbook that maybe only we'll ever use, but hell, if anyone could release that, if we release that public and actually someone out there.
That's what we could call it. That's what we would call it. Hell, if anyone could release that. Like.
Hell, if anyone could find this useful. That would be really cool. Because, you know, I did think of that at some point, like, you know, sometimes they'll make like tweets or sometimes they'll make like a blog, but they'll only very lightly touch on production stuff and organizing stuff.
I would also definitely, from my end, in that same, I guess, pamphlet, I'd love to talk about numbers more in depth because I'll tell you guys, one of the hardest things doing this was I didn't know what was a good number not to pay for something.
Right, yeah.
What is production worth? What is staging worth? And we did our best research, so I really don't think we got screwed on anything. There's a couple issues where things were a little more expensive than we expected, but we managed to find ways to cover those costs. And I don't think really there's a lot of other tournament organizers at the time of making this video who would find this useful, but I would like to have that out there. I'll definitely try to look into. I can't give like full receipts or anything.
No.
But try and show people like more or less what we did and what we went through.
Yeah, it could be a useful tool. I mean, there's not many people in our position to go from, you know, just online in, you know, no pants or just pajama pants.
Am I wearing any right now? We have no idea.
We'll never know. Oh, he is. Trust me. That have the opportunity to go into a live event by themselves. I mean, you know, usually the big guys have someone else worrying about the production and someone else worrying about what arrives to the venue, and this is mostly this guy stressing out. So, I mean, it may not be useful to anyone else. It may be extremely interesting, and maybe some guy's gonna look at the pamphlet and be like, well, X plus you know, B plus Y. Actually, maybe I could afford a very small event. That would be awesome.
That's
if
cool.
that
You
helps.
start up lands or whatever. I mean, the thing is, a lot of people I think misunderstood what we're doing as a LAN and not really a show, a tournament, as it were. And this wasn't something where you grab like 5 buddies and head to your local computer shop. Like I do want to stress, like for anyone who doesn't know, we rented staging. These backdrops were made. Thank you again to Carbot. Thank you, John, for making these. Specifically for the tournament to make it look better. We had lighting on the stage. I guess a random just shout out in the middle here to Ken Silva and Frank.
Yeah. Both
of those guys helped make this possible. Without them, I think this would have been a big mess, a huge mistake.
Yeah, I don't know what we've done without them.
Well, I guess that's a lot of like the recap stuff or the or the plan stuff. But some of the recap stuff, like there were some very definitive moments for me in this tournament. Meeting the fans is always really cool.
Yep.
I tried to take some time. I tried to encourage everybody to take some time to just go around, shake the hands, and meet people when you're not casting. We set up a photo booth on day 3. I got a ton of photos with some of the fans. I know there's some of you out there as well. And just the experience of being treated somewhat like a celebrity was so strange.
Yeah, it was, and
like it was good. It was good, guys.
It was great. I'm trying to put into words here the fact that it wasn't just some guy that you know, secretly hid. Although we do have a lot of lurkers, and we've definitely learned that they still very much so appreciate us.
Hang on, side note. We meet so many people who were like, "Hey, nice to meet you. What's your name in Twitch chat?" Oh, I don't really take a part in Twitch chat.
Yeah, but they, you know, they'd be like, "Oh, but we still love you," of course. But to meet someone and be like, I'm John, hey, that's you. Like, Baruch, hey, that's you. Like, we met so many people where either they were, you know, we did meet some of our mods, of course, but also just some people were like, oh yeah, sometimes I recognize your name going through because you're an active chatter. Like, everyone there was, sure, treating us, you know, they were excited to see us, but I mean, we were excited to see them, right? I mean, it wasn't just like, I mean, a lot of times you're running around, so it would just be like a simple sign, like, you know, thanks for coming. But to go around and be like, hey, nice jacket. Like, where'd you get that? You know, let's talk about the jacket.
I know who you're talking about very specifically with this reference.
Maybe you'll be watching the video and he'll be like, I know what she's talking about. Oh my God.
That's me.
I gotta say, though, one thing I definitely did not do, I didn't hand anyone an ice cream cone.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there.
Some guy made like a fake karma Reddit thread, like this feel-good story that never happened with zombie girl.
I mean, I'd love if I had made someone feel like I have a feel-good story, but that was not the one. I would tell you that.
I liked it though. I did get like a legit feel-good story.
Yes.
I like not quite a tear to my eye, but like I had a big smile on my face after a really tough day reading that. That was really cool.
Yeah.
And I really didn't feel like I did anything special. I feel like all I did was what I would hope anyone else would do, and it's just be nice to your audience.
Yeah.
Meet and greet, say hi.
Yeah. But it is so awesome because, you know, we'd see them constantly that, again...
Oh, you start recognizing faces after day one?
Yeah, I would love to have stuck around more and maybe, like, sat in the audience, too. Something which is totally viable in our tournament, but there's so much running around, and I guess... It's probably going to be a much longer video than normal.
Oh, yeah, guys, please understand. We are still, like, elated and, like, lit up right now.
There's so much more to talk about than just, like, oh, yeah, we went up to Toronto, it was kind of cool, we met some people... And,
shout out, goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much more to talk about, but I don't know, it's just like really cool to meet those fans and have those experiences. And I guess we'll talk about like things like our planning and maybe the other casters that we brought on too.
Oh, actually, I would like to talk about that. Livy and Crank did a fantastic job.
Yeah.
I know there was some concern because they're not the regulars on the channel, but the thing is, Livy B has filled in for her a lot when she's not available. So is Crank. They both also Crank cast with us a lot, TriCast, and he really wanted to practice for this too. I think they both did an upstanding job. Crank actually kind of outshined us, English in some ways. I can edit that out, right? I don't know. Maybe I won't. But he really, like, Crank outshined us in a lot of ways when it came to analysis, and that's what I really was hoping for with him.
Yeah.
I know he was really nervous on day one, and I spoke to him, I was like, bro, look, you know what you're doing. Don't be worried about your English. They know what you're saying. Just speak up and you'll be good to go. And day 2, day 3, Crank brought it hard.
Yeah, I hope I'm not embarrassing him, but there's literally one time where I was casting with him, I think on day 1, or maybe it was early day 2, I forget. But basically he was, you know, kind of getting that shy little mode again, even though we were casting a Protoss. And basically Olivia came over, and I guess she had tried to type to him in BattleNet, but she didn't see it, so she actually came over and had a sign, like a piece of paper that said, speak up. And once he saw that, like, I saw that first, and I was like,
I love it because it's like inspiration from his wife too. Like it's not just like a random person saying get louder.
Right, exactly. And then Crank had to he was like kind of like sitting up, and then, you know, he tried to do I guess talk more and talk louder, but it was funny and it ended up really working out and really meshing well. I mean, honestly, it was a little worrying, and maybe other people did worry about this, but I guess they had no idea what our plans were for the casting.
Well, we had actually
lineup.
We tried to plan it out. So one of the big things was we wanted to give them races they were comfortable with. Like Livy cast a TVP with me, and she did it well. That was at Huck versus I think I don't know, Tens or Kells or something, or Hart maybe. But the point is, I don't remember the match right now off the top of my head. She did it well, even though it wasn't her Zerg matchup. And I think Crank also did a great job just bouncing between all the races. But we had basically said, look, we're going to open the show. We're going to try and close the show if we can. And we'll give them every race that works for them in between.
Yeah.
And Zombie Grub, you guys might not know this because I'm always the one talking. I never get a chance to shut the fuck up. But Zombie Grub is a fantastic lead in the cast. She did a great job handling both Livy and Crank. I mean, she's done it before when I'm not there on the channel, and it's so rare that maybe none of you guys got to see it. So it might have looked like the first time, but I think she did a great job. Yeah,
that's what I was going to talk about, just that, like, I guess no one really worries about that, right? No one's like, wow, I wonder if Apollo will lead in the cast 5 out of 10 times. Like, no one ever asked that.
No, he's going to, like, it's his knowledge.
Yeah, but, like, we had to consider that, you know, we wrote down the list of, like, okay, when X, Zerg player comes up, Livy, when Protoss player comes up, Crank, like, that's the obvious stuff. But then I was like, well, you know, I had to lead. I had to be the leader when we had to, you know, be like, oh, well, are you okay with that? And I guess my feelings on it, because I guess it is new for some people, or maybe you didn't notice, but you notice now, like, oh yeah, she did lead. That's so weird. It was, you know, like sometimes exhausting, always having to be like on point and listen to that guy in your ear, especially. Like 5, 4, and you're already done, so you're just like,
talking.
3, 2, 1.
Just a side note here: it's really difficult to talk over them too. Like
it is.
You're trying to send out the camera. You're just saying something really simple, like, "All right, guys, we're going to terraform. We'll see you in 5 seconds. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the show. We'll see you soon." But you've got a guy counting from 10 in your ear while you're doing that, and it's very hard to concentrate on your own words.
Yeah, and that definitely screwed up, I guess, a couple. Like, we legitimately just screwed up a couple, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I was
okay,
just
we'll see you in Terraform.
There's one where I got cut off, too. I was like,
5,
all right, we'll see you next.
Yeah, there's one that was the only one that actually cut us off, though. I don't know if that's better or worse that we had to scramble for more words as opposed to less. But
well, mine was easy because like when I got scrambling, I just started counting down.
Right, exactly.
Like me and Craig would
was
just like in unison be like 5, 4,
Yes.
3, 2.
That was definitely our backup right there. It was honestly fun to lead. Now we were worried. Maybe only I was, but I think we both were worried about how I was going to do with only one other person, because I don't think I've cast with Livy or Crank duo. It's always been a tri-cast.
Actually, I'll just interject here really quick and say we never really did talk about this prior.
Yeah.
But a big part of that was because I completely trusted you to handle that. Like I knew you were gonna handle that. So
okay.
Maybe we should have talked about it, but
Maybe, I don't know.
That's the faith I had on my partner.
Okay, I think maybe I casted Livy one time when you were in the background getting like food. So you just observed.
Probably like, hey guys, I'm sick. I can't cast today.
Yeah, probably something like that. But the point is that, we got up there and it really wasn't that bad. So, definitely kudos to Livy and Crank for just being so easy to cast with, right? Because that not only is there like the mesh between the casters, is also just legitimately like what if they were bad in online setting or offline setting rather, right? Like what if they like freezed up and we're just like, hey, Livy talk right now, please.
There's a lot of moments too where honestly it sounds silly, but those hand motions and things, like you've heard casters talk about how gestures are different online, offline. And I guess maybe it's because we kind of had the harsher environment of like getting to cast together online or offline or online rather before offline, that we had already had this synergy set up. But it was definitely a lot easier. Like when I'm casting with Zombie Grub, she's talking, and rather than interrupting her as I classically tend to do, I could easily be like point at like the dark shrine or something, and she just kind of like accentuate points. Like you've got those hand gestures and things. Like it was a very different experience casting.
It was, but it was so fun, and everyone just gelled, and it was, from what I read too, there was no complaints about the actual casting. I posted like 1 or 2 trolls, right?
I know, like
But no one legitimately came to us and was like, look, I'm a little worried. You and Crank don't mesh well. Could you not do that again? Like no one ever came up to us and said that.
You and Livy probably got the highest praise.
Yeah, in fact, too. I don't want to, say this, then everyone will be like, well, it's because they're 2 girls and it's such an oddity. Like, sure, that is rare, and maybe someone out there thinks that we did it on purpose to get the views. Absolutely fucking not. Like, I didn't even think of...
Like, we celebrated the fact that it was like, hey, this is like one of the few
we mentioned it, like, I think in a cast before we left, where it was like, hey, if Livy and me cast together, we're going to be, like, the first time, like, it was like a offline LAN over prize pool, that 2 women were casting, blah, 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 but seriously, when it came push to shove and we were just going through like, okay, who has to cast this and what race are they casting with, Zombie and Livy didn't become like woman, it was like Terran and Zerg.
Exactly.
And one is the leader.
And I think we did a good job of that too, because I was a little bit worried that we would have to fight that stigma.
Yeah.
But I think that you both carried your own. I mean, the thing is too, guys, when I wasn't casting, if I wasn't in production or if I wasn't running around working or helping or just schmoozing with the fans, I was just sitting there watching the games, like watching the cast.
I actually want to talk about that too, the I guess how much we had to do. The very obvious stuff, of course, is production. Like, Frank coming up to be like, hey, what do you think of this for the next segment? Or, hey, we have a technical problem. That's the obvious stuff. But, like, the not obvious stuff is really just, like, part of our job is hanging out with you guys, and we fucking love to do it. Absolutely. And we wouldn't change it for the world. But it's like, it doesn't end at 7. So for a second, actually, when we left, I think like Saturday, and the production guys were like, oh, we have to stay for like an extra 2 hours and like do a bunch of stuff. I was like, oh, that sucks for you guys, such a long day. And then I realized like we had the VIP party, which was amazing, which was so cool. And then afterwards, of course, we talked with our friends and got to know the Livy and Crank a little bit better too. It was just, it never ends. And in the morning,
we also got very little sleep this weekend.
Yes.
Like, I really hope that if we did our job well, it didn't show.
Right.
But I think the first night we only got about 3 hours of sleep. The second night we got like maybe 4.5, 5. We're lucky, but
first studying and then everything that's
just try to keep up, I think is a good way to phrase
right,
that.
Like just keeping up constantly. It was such a good feeling though, right?
Yeah, I like that stress. If you guys have never experienced that stress, I think that's why. Like it's a drive, it's a motivator, like to go on. And I I really enjoyed it this weekend. It was tough. It was really tough, but I would do it over and over and over again.
It was tough. I missed my sleep, but it was that good feeling of knowing you did stuff correctly
it was
worthwhile.
It's worth noting too. We set up this really cool player lounge in the area in the very back. There's a couple of couches, food, cooler, etc. But every time I'd go back there to fetch somebody, maybe they needed to play or they were on deck or I needed to speak with the admins, somebody was sleeping on the couch. Zombie Girl had her turn, our admins had their turns. There's always one of those couches, just somebody was always snapping on them, like all the time, and couldn't blame them. Everybody was working so damn hard.
Yeah, it was such an amazing time. You just never got to stop, and I guess that, it can be easy to get on tilt, and no one ever talks about caster tilt.
Oh.
But
tell me about caster tilt, Zombie Girl.
Either you're really stressed because something happens, or you read something online that's just as in passing. Maybe they were nice about it, maybe they weren't, and it can potentially tilt you. But when you're busy like that and you're enjoying yourself so much like that,
you prioritize too. Like
yeah.
You're like, okay, fuck, that sucks. I got to deal with this, but I'll do it later because these 4 things are far more important.
Yeah, it really, I don't know. It was a really good busy.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But, before we get off the top, we talked about Livy being crank, and you and I have already said words to each other, but and I'm sorry, I'm gonna get a little nerdy here. She was so fun to cast with in person, guys. I mean, we cast together online all the time, and we already know we know each other pretty well, I'd say. But just that element of being either in person, looking over at their screen, kind of leaning in their direction. I mean, it was a whole nother experience, and I could not have asked for a better person to do it with. So again, so I guess they can hear, but you've heard it a million times. You nailed it, man. We nailed it.
Actually, if we're going to go on, I don't know, we're just going to start complimenting each other. This guy, right? So worried about,
I had butterflies every single day, guys.
Yeah, seriously. We went into, the back room for 5 seconds, and he was like, man, I'm so nervous, so, calm me down. And I was like, bro, it's no big deal. It's exactly like Home Story Cup, except it's, 200 people instead of 2 people in front of us here right now. And he didn't only nail it on, the casting front, but I don't know if it came through in the crowd, but the host position, right? James was the official host. He was the one that did the interviews and was
he did a great job with that too.
And he did a great job, but this guy was the ultimate leader. He hyped the crowd. He was able to do the throwouts correctly. Maybe not the right word, but well, right?
Efficiently.
Because correctly would be every single time you're we're going into game 2 right now, and it hits, but. We're BaseTradeTV. We're a little awkward. We could be.
That's what we do. We told them too. The production guys. I want to stress this too. There's a lot of times where there was going to be dead, and they're really stressed out. You guys gonna be okay for 5 seconds? I'm like,
yeah.
5 seconds. That's nothing.
Right. Exactly. Right. But instead it is. He makes it fun. He makes it enjoyable. Makes it silly, and the crowd, I think, was really receptive, whether they realized it or not. Who it was because of. It was because of this guy right here. So.
Thank you. Yeah, the crowd, that was not something I actually expected to do well. I spent a lot of this preparing because, guys, if we're going to be honest, between the two of us, it's fairly obvious where the community sits on opinions of casting, and I want to definitely dress to impress, so to speak. So I tried to study, I tried to make sure that we were very well prepared for the event. When it came to casting, that's what I was worried about. I never really thought about the hype of the crowd, and either luck or whatever, that came somewhat naturally, so... It was really fun feeding off that. Now, maybe it's because they had ice cream and pizza, or maybe it's because we gave them so many cool cards and things, but it was really... It didn't take much. We had the crowd actually leading us sometimes. We'd get into game, and normally you and I like to banter and do some bullshit for the first 5 seconds. No. The slow clap starts immediately, and I'm just guys, I guess I gotta do these intros.
I will say, it was the finals where I think we went full BaseTradeTV.
Oh, we went delirious crazy. We took our blazers off. It was... It was perfect though.
Yeah, maybe some people say it's worse. Maybe they were oh, I thought you guys were so business-like, and then for a reason you changed it. But actually, that finals thing was what I expected the whole event to be, and I wouldn't mind it if it was the whole event next time. But it's the stupid. We actually I kind of fought with the crowd of that whole you guys are gonna chant, huh? You're gonna force us to call out the player names? Really? I'm gonna do this. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
Okay, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah, and then I gave up and I did it. But anyways, that type of stuff was so fun. I think that the crowd really felt that too.
Yeah, the energy there was just unreal, and we made jokes on stream. I wish we could have that sort of B-roll background noise just all the time.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna be so hard to do regular intros when we go back. It's gonna be in the bottom right. Wait for the claps. No, okay. No. Well, it's this guy.
Yeah, it's weird. I can't steal that.
I know. Shout out to Desert.
Right.
But no, seriously, like I just did not expect the crowd to respond or be as receptive. And we've heard from everybody in the world, by the way, guys. Like, we've talked to players, we've talked to other casters and organizers. They always say Canada's got the best crowd. And, like, I am 500% behind this. 100% of our own crowds have been the best crowds I've ever seen.
Yeah, definitely. What was really cool, too, is that we got so many... You know, we asked for feedback sometimes, and maybe sure some people were like shy to give their honest, brutal feedback.
Yeah, I mean, like, that was my biggest fear, that they were just gonna say, "Hey, it's your event, and nice things."
Yeah, but for the most part, they try to get very legitimate, like, you know, like pluses and negatives. But the fact is that we got it from like every country, which is like I don't think anyone really gets it, because we had Crank, right? So while like the Korean players are certainly friendly, and certainly we see a lot of the bromances on Twitter between Apollo and whatever, you know, Korean there is, we could literally be a Crank, like, you know, what do they think of the event, the ones that came, and he'll tell us, you know, like A, B, and C. They got the Europeans doing that too. Xanster says he loves America.
Xanster did not realize this was Canada or something. It just blew me away. But no, like, she's got a point. I was actually floored by this. This is probably the single biggest thing that blew me away in this event, more than the actual experience, was the fact that everybody was happy with it. That, I think, for me, like, it's a little bit sappy and lame, but, like, that was my biggest concern. I wanted people to feel comfortable, to be happy. We actually helped some of the players too. I know that not all players love social interaction with their fans, but the trading cards we made, we gave them their cards to give away, and some of the big things were just like, man, I had so much fun doing that. Like, I really loved people coming up to me asking for cards and things.
Yeah.
And the players themselves, they were like, hey, you guys provided Red Bull, you got clean areas to play in, food was there. Like, I didn't hear publicly, at least, a single negative review from any of the players who competed in our tournament. And that, for me, was my goal. Make sure they're happy so that we can have a good tournament. And the spectators give us similar feedback. We hear from the Koreans as well that they rather enjoyed this tournament. I mean, I couldn't be more happy with the way this turned out in any way. Like, even the technical difficulties and the negatives, I'm still happy with that, because I would not have wanted to done this tournament any differently if this meant everyone was happy.
Yeah. Of course, wait till Remax in the late game where everyone was invited is like, yeah, it fucking sucked. Like, goddamn, really nothing went right.
Yeah, well, hopefully that doesn't happen.
Okay.
No, but really, I don't think that would, if I got to be completely honest.
Yeah. I mean, certainly everyone has their gripes, and I'm certain the players felt the effect of the technical difficulties, which is, you know, what really sucks. But if overall they were like, yeah, we'd love to do it again, especially with BaseTradeTV, who accommodated us, then that's good.
That's ZGB thumbs up is what that is. I don't know what to say other than that. Like, my feelings could go on for hours, guys, but the reality is it boils down to I'm sad it's over, but I'm happy we did it, and it's gonna be hard to go back to regular casting, in all truth and honesty.
It is.
I mean, most of the other technical stuff we can sum up. We got, I mean, so many cool things. We did the dance contest. That was a lot of fun.
I mean, I guess
the photo booth was so cool.
Like in terms of everything that we got and was worried maybe wouldn't actually turn out to be fun or something like that. People used my tattoos.
She printed out so many tattoos.
I got like 8 pages of tattoos, and I was like, well, maybe this is actually too many. Like, what if like no one uses them?
Yo, actually, you know who needs a special shout out really quick?
What?
My friend Krista Hesketh.
Oh yeah.
Blonde Jedi.
Oh my god, did we put her on the credits?
I don't believe we did, but we should
have. Should have put the Blonde Jedi.
Okay, well, if you guys ever watch this video, go follow @the Blonde Jedi on Twitter, because the thing is, she lives here in Toronto. She let me stay here for a couple nights for free on the floor. Oh my god, that was a terrible experience, but nonetheless, she held on to a lot of our gear. She was trustworthy enough not to steal anything, like the watches, the valuable things that we really wanted to have. Mm-hmm. It was crazy how much she helped us just by being here to receive things. And then she came to the event on like day 2. So it was really awesome. And Krista, if you ever watch this, thank you so much for all your help, because you did a lot.
But I guess like going on the point before that. Oh my god. Hey,
we got an extra plushie.
Hey, buddy. There we go.
Wait. Oh, did you already throw it away?
Sorry, I did.
Confetti.
Anyways, the tattoos were actually used. People seem to enjoy them. The player cards actually forced people to interact, or people wanted to interact, either one. People, for the most part, did the honor system thing. Of course, there's always a couple of people.
There's always that one guy.
Yeah, exactly. But the honor system really worked out. We actually, I feel kind of bad, because I meant to tell everyone, like, oh, the honor system's gone with the trading card thing. Like, just take whatever's left in the bin. and I didn't, so we actually have a lot of extra cards that I'm sure people would have been like, oh, I traded in the intense for the one thing, and I could have just kept the intense.
The art on those cards is so damn good, though, that I think they are something we can handle for a while. Nicholas gets another shout out here, too.
Yeah.
He designed and did a lot of the art assets for this, and it looks fantastic. There's about 1 million people we could probably have personal credits for, so we won't go through all of them, but understand that there's not a single person involved with this we don't appreciate.
Right. The pizza and ice cream ended up being a big hit. People loved that it was actually
You know what
divided.
We're just gonna not even cut. I'm not gonna edit that out. Okay, that was a terrible fix.
Well, can you fix it again?
I'm trying to, man. You just can't even see you. You're just falling out of the frame more and more. There we go. Hey, let's look at the art in there.
Oh, that's a pretty good one. Yeah, sounds a little more comfy. But anyways, yeah, pizza and ice cream went well. The photo booth actually ended up being used every single time the action ended. There's gonna be a couple of people that would go up there, and then of course when we did the contest with it, oh my god, there's so many people.
Oh my god,
up there.
And everyone huddled around the computers too, looking for the results.
Yeah, exactly. What
cool.
I really loved too is that, and we were told, I forget, did Panic tell us this? I forget, but basically it was him. Panic said that the way the photographers know it's a really good finals is people like me to get up and kind of being like, oh, I gotta go to sleep or oh, I gotta go to work, and they'd be like, oh my god, look what's happening, and they'd sit back down.
Well, another thing too is for photographers too, they have to run up there and get ready for the victory shot. I realize it's not coming and sit back down there as well. I mean,
right.
There's a lot of things where we saw there's Trig, Panic, and a couple other photographers who would just get up there on the stage on their knees, ready, and after 10 minutes they'd have to sit back down because it wasn't over.
But that's what happened with the photo booth. Like we said, we're gonna give away these chairs for the best photo.
Shout out to Chairs for Gaming, by the way.
Exactly. Yes, I think everyone loved them. But people would get up really quickly, and there'd be a line, and then the game would start, and they'd half of the people that can get in would have to go sit back down and wait their turn. That was really cool to watch us off to the side while that happens. I mean, that finals just all around with the Chairs for Gaming release and all that was super pumped. But was there anything else that we promised and delivered on and people actually enjoyed? The VIP
dinner. Let's talk about the VIP dinner. That was actually pretty good times.
Yeah.
We had a couple of players join us for that. We didn't expect that. I mean, the idea with the VIP dinner was just have us come hang out with them, get to know everybody, chill and say hi. I mean, the thing was, what are we doing here?
Sorry, I was checking the time.
Oh yeah, I guess we were kind of talking for a while.
It was going to be an hour-long video.
There's so much to talk about though, guys. It was such a good time. But one of the big things about the VIP dinner that I enjoyed was we had a couple of players, right? So we had Seed and Heart and of course Crank on the side. And we got to know everybody. But it was really funny because as good as the dinner was, we went to Korean barbecue and we went to this wonderful place called is it the Korean Village restaurant?
I think so, yeah.
Again, it had this really funny guy there. Two absolutely amazing and horrific things happened while we were there. One was, it started off simple, like somebody asking, what's the schedule for tomorrow? And I just did what I did, and I spoke loud and gave an answer. And people started gathering around, and I don't know, I've never really given a speech before, guys, and I didn't intend to, but it kind of turned into this speech thing that ended with everyone clapping, and I was like, oh, this is so cool, but I didn't mean for this.
Yeah, it was cool. So there's a VIP dinner that ended up going really well, and they certainly helped. They felt like VIPs. But there was also the VIP chairs that I think a lot of people were noticing.
That was something I'm hoping people enjoyed, because that was something we went out of our way to set up.
Yeah.
Where we had the regular crowd chairs, the foldable chairs you'll see at any event, but then we got these really comfy chairs set up for the 12 VIPs.
Yeah. What else?
Oh. The woman at the restaurant called me fat. That was hilarious.
Oh well. Okay.
This is
that wasn't something we promised on, but that happened.
So this is waiter we love at this restaurant. He's hilarious, and I guess he used to try to do some acting or something. And so he's got a bunch of pictures of him on the wall, and his mom owns the restaurant. Now please keep in mind, guys, this mother figure does not have great English. Okay, so I pay the check for the table. We go and I'm like, oh. It's that guy, and it's a picture of him from 3 years ago in this business magazine, and he's much larger back then. And I pointed out, and she laughs because I'm laughing. She's like, yeah, he's so fat. I'm like, oh, don't say that about your son. So I'm like, can I show this to my table? She's like, oh, you think it's funny? Yeah. So we grab the picture and I show the table and everyone's kind of laughing and I bring it back and she could hear all the people laughing. So she says, you guys think it's funny? I'm like, yeah. She's like, fat, again pointing at the picture, and I laughed. And then she points at me and it's like, fat. And I'm like, what the fuck? What just happened? So I'm walking back to the table saying, what? Yelling at her back, and she's just laughing her ass off. And zombie grub, and other people
Okay.
like looking at me like, what the fuck just happened?
Like, the second best part is that the waiter comes through again, the son, and, like, Rifkin brings up this story, and he's like, you know your mom is mean? And he was like, oh, yeah, she's like that. And we all, of course, all laugh.
And then to make me feel better, he pulls out this, like, bushel of just candy out of nowhere. Like,
Yes,
like it was up his
he's such a
sleeve
troll.
waiting or something. He is such a troll, but he's, like, the best waiter I've ever
He's the
had.
best type, right? So, like, he'll do it pretty convincingly, too. Like, we kind of figured out that he would do it, so we started to see through it. But
Oh, we don't have any candy left.
even
guys.
without that, he still do it well. Like, you know, we actually, like, he was, like, walking by in a hurry, and we're like, do you have any more of those lollipops? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, guys, we're out. Like, he was just completely, like, on point for it, and then, of course, he comes back, and it's, like, a bushel of lollipops. These lollipops are amazing.
Y'all got any more of them candies?
This is exactly what it was like, so, of course, I gave those out later to, everyone else, and I didn't even get a second one. That was so nice.
So the thing is, though, like, we did... The VIPs had some definitive advantage to their tournament. They got to hang out with the players.
Mm-hmm.
They got to go to the back area. We did something that some of the players did not love, but everyone kind of went for, where we forced all the players out of the player area around these semifinals, and we asked that they join the audience. And this kind of forced them to interact a little bit more than they were before, and I got feedback from some of the VIPs specifically saying that was a really cool move, because then the audience gets to feel like a VIP. And they joined us on the couch. We had like these silly confetti poppers. It was all around a good time.
I dropped it.
I know, you just kind of look like you're just waving your hand now.
That actually didn't even show up on the camera. There you go.
But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. This is kind of just our post Ultimate Time video. It was a great time. Good friends. All that cheesy stuff. You have any final words for it?
I don't know. It was an amazing event, and it would be great to do another, but of course, there are absolutely no promises for that one. And I will probably be answering a lot of questions on stream. Maybe by the time this video is released, depending on how long it takes, we've already answered a lot of questions on stream and go more into detail. So if you do want to
we're gonna have stories. We're gonna have stories galore, guys.
Yeah, of course, we're gonna have hundreds of more stories. It'll take up many more hours, but it's.
Someone, if you watch this, ask me about the security guard story. That's a good one.
Okay, yeah, do that one.
Alright, well, I guess you went in this with... Till the next one?
Until the next one. Whee!